Hello, students. So today in this session, we're going to be talking about how to set yourself up for success with or for the semester or the whole year, or even online learning in general. So one of the first things you want to be able to do is to create a schedule. That's the best way to set yourself up for success. So if you don't know where your schedule is, feel free to go to PowerSchool, sorry. Go to schedule on the side, and then you can see what your schedule is. And again, it tells you what period you have your classes. So you can see I have ELA 30 in period 1, that's from 10 to 11, period 2, social studies, that is from 11 till 12, and then there's a lunch break from 12 to 12:30. Period 3 is my ELA 10, that's from 12:30 to 1:30, and then I have a prep period 4, but that would be 2:30 to 3:30, or sorry, 1:30 to 2:30, my apologies. And so once you know your schedule, then you at least know when your classes are, what period they would be. But know that not every class is going to happen every day. That's the really neat thing about online learning, right? Is we have a mix of both synchronous and asynchronous courses. So the way that you can find out when you actually have those Zoom classes is ideally through your Moodle course. So when you go to Moodle, you'll scroll down, you'll see this big calendar. We'll talk about that in a second. You can use the calendar to find out when you have classes as well, because some teachers will post it. But most of the time you'll see it in your course or on your course page. So you can see for my ELA 10, I say this is when we have our Zoom meetings. The schedule can change as needed, depending on, if you have a big essay coming up or a big test or something like that, and teachers may want to see you more frequently. And then sometimes, where you're just working on a project, and so they'll make it mostly asynchronous classes. So make sure to communicate with your teacher if you don't know when those classes are, but most teachers will put it on their calendar. And you have your individual course calendars on each page. If we go back to our dashboard, we see our calendar for all the courses. And as much as I enjoy Moodle, I'm not a big fan of this calendar. As a visual learner, I like to be able to change colors and change it for different classes, because right now it just looks a mess because I have this same thing or something for every class on here, and I don't know how to differentiate between what is my ELA versus what is my social or whatever. So something that I do is I export it to a Google calendar. So you can go to export and export calendar. You can do all events for the next 60 days. You can either get a URL or you can export it, which will download it to your downloads or somewhere on your computer. Hopefully you can find it. And then from there, you can go to your Google Calendar. And you can add here with other calendars, the plus sign. You could do this from your URL, or you import it by selecting that document that's downloaded, and then you can import it. And then once you import it, you can see that I have then the ability to change the colors, right? So I can change all my ELA 10s to pink, so that's, and I'd have to go through and do that. But this is just an example of how you could do that. And then for me as a visual learner, this is super helpful because I can now see what is for each course, not just all the same color, and quite confusing. So that is one of the first things you can do to ensure success is create a schedule. Make sure within that schedule you build time for yourself, as Mr. Smith talked about this morning. With we all have different priorities and whatnot, and things we place over another. School is obviously going to be somewhere on that list, but it shouldn't be everything. So build in some time in your schedules to take mental breaks, to take physical breaks, whatever you need to do to help yourself be successful. So if that means that, hey, on a Monday, I only have 2 classes. So during the first 5 minutes of this first asynchronous class, I'm going to make sure that I stand up, I stretch, I get a new glass of water, and then I'm ready to go and work on whatever I'm supposed to work on for that asynchronous period. And then in the last period, maybe I'm going to take the first 5 minutes of that asynchronous period and take a mental break where I watch a funny YouTube video and then and then, you know, get back into back into school. Sometimes we need that, and that's okay. So make sure as you build a schedule that you leave time for that. And these schedules you could create, you could simply find or create one on a Google Doc. It could look something like, you know, something like this that you make in a Google Doc that says, okay, Monday for the week of September 5th to 8th, this is what I'm doing, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I've had other suggestions from students where they use Canva to create their schedules, and those are obviously very, very beautiful. So feel free to use any kind of template that works for you, but make sure you have a schedule. I have multiple schedules. I have my calendars, but then I also have my hard copy agendas where I write, do like a hard copy of my schedule for each week as well, because I'm one of those people that need multiple reminders. Another thing a student asked about and even suggested was setting up alerts for yourself, whether that's through the reminder app or an alarm on your phone, or a banner that pops up on your computer, whatever the case may be. Creating those alerts for yourself when you have a Zoom class, because sometimes those are the things that we struggle with the most, is remembering when we have classes. So if it's helpful to have like an audio alert or a visual that, you know, pops up on your computer, then I think that's a great thing to do as well, to help those that need those extra reminders. The other thing I want to talk about is making sure you have an organized Google Drive. And you may think, we know how to do this, and I'm sure you all do, but just a reminder to make sure that on your Google Drive, you have a folder for each course. And then in that course, you know, you could do unit 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then keep your documents organized and don't delete them until the end of the semester. Because sometimes I've seen as teachers, or myself as a teacher, I've gone to go and mark something in a Google Drive, or it was a Google Doc link, and they say, oh, you can't access it anymore because it's in the recycle bin. And I go, oh, well, now I have to ask for it again, and now they can't find it, and it becomes this whole thing. So just make sure to just keep everything in your Google Drive organized. Don't delete anything until the end of the semester or the year. Then you can get that satisfying click where you see everything go blah, 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 and disappear. And that's oh so satisfying. So just save that till the end of the year. And that's a great way to keep all your work organized. Maybe you want to revisit some things or reassess on something, and you want to make sure you have access to it. So keep that accessible in your Google Drive. I've already talked about a daily routine and schedule. This is another piece of having a good plan for success, is make sure you have a support system. You all have been given a Connect class teacher. They will be an excellent person to help support you. Your teachers, your principal, guidance, learning support, all great people that are part of your support systems. Your parents maybe inadvertently are your support system, because they're constantly asking, what are you doing? When is this due? And that's okay. That's awesome. I encourage you also to have other people that can support you, not just about your schoolwork, but also just check-ins to see how's it going. How are you feeling? Because those are important questions as well. It's not all about school. It's also important to do emotional check-ins, right? So make sure you have a support system of at least a couple of people that can be regularly just checking up on you, holding you accountable to school, to yourself. I think that's important too. And then finally, I wanted to talk about setting up your workspace for success. So I encourage you, I have these links about how to set up a proper workspace for online learning. So I can share those with you. But the main thing is I encourage you to have a space outside of your bed to be doing your work, right? Your bed is a place for sleeping, for watching Netflix, for maybe even gaming, whatever. And so removing yourself from that takes you into a new mindset to be prepared to do something different, in this case, school. If you can get outside of your bedroom, even better, right? But I know we don't all have the space for it. Ideally, you want to have an ergonomic desk, an ergonomic chair. You can Google what those will look like and take like different ergonomic tests to get that figured out. But again, that's not doable for all of us. But again, that's ideal. And then have your space set up for success. So I have a fidgeter beside me because sometimes, my attention wavers. And so I just have that beside me so I can fiddle with that, but then also maintain my attention on my teacher or the work I'm working on. I also always have water beside me. I tend to always have like lip chap or a snack, right? Because we have a short lunch period. So if you can snack, ideally healthy snacks, but snack, that is okay too. Just make sure you have a space that works for you and that will help you be successful this year. So again, the key big pieces, I think, in terms of building and encouraging success this year is having a clear schedule, a weekly schedule, making sure you are checking your emails regularly to see if there's been any changes. Start every Monday by checking so that you know what this week is going to look like. Organizing your Google Drive or your folders on your computer. Have a support system in place and set your workspace up for success. And I think if you can do that, you'll set it yourself up for success this semester. The other final thing I'll add is your mindset. I have this poster here. It says, it's okay to ask for help. That is a mindset piece to this establishing success. Do not be afraid to ask for help. We all need help with something. So please ask for help if needed. We are here to help you be successful. Awesome. Thank you for joining. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully I'll see you in class. Bye.